time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catafamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it is great to have you in studio with us today. We are sitting down with Sedona Heritage Museum again. Janeen Trevillyan, back with us.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
And Shondra Jepperson. Hi.
Hi.
Shondra's first time here. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Board member?
Yes. Board
actor?
member, actor, singer, producer.
Yeah. Website, sedonamuseum.org. Phone number, 928-282-7038. Well, let's jump right into it. Okay. We talked about this, like we just said, just before the show started. You contacted me in August. The cemetery walk's coming up.
That's right.
It's almost October.
It is. October's a big month in the fall, and the Verde Valley and Sedona especially, but we're right in there with the museum. We've got several October events planned. But the Cemetery Walk is a relatively new program. We just started them last year. We were looking at COVID and the limitations of live in-person and inside events. And Shondra had just joined our board a year before, and she's a very creative person. She can always think of another way to do something. And she said, you know, if we have to be outside and we're worried about the historic cemeteries that the Historical Society owns, what if we created a show and we took people through the cemetery and we used that a way to get them out of the house, which was really important a year ago. Nice. We were all fatiguing. And then it would also give us an opportunity to share local history, but also then the third thing would be to start teaching or educating some of our residents about some of the history of this place that we've all moved to from somewhere else, and we just don't know the history. Maybe we haven't had that opportunity. So we came up with Voices from the Grave, a cemetery walk. We started out at this cemetery, which we're going to come back to now at the end of October, the 29th and 30th this month. And it's going to be a cemetery walk, 6 characters, 6 spirits, if you will, that will be joining us to share their personal stories, and any money that we raise, it all benefits the cemetery fund at the Historical Society. We own 2 historic cemeteries around Sedona, one from 1893 out on the Red Rock Loop Road, and then this one, which is Cook Cemetery just off the airport road, which ironically enough, started in 1918 with a person who died of the influenza Spanish flu epidemic in 1918, and that's why this cemetery, the Cook Cemetery, exists.
I don't think I've seen either one of those cemeteries.
Oh, you have to go. And Cook's, Sedona's buried there. Sedona School.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like amazing.
And it's on Airport Road.
Just off Airport Road next to the Elks Lodge.
Right.
No kidding.
Yep. It's right behind
We've
it.
got a new sign, actually,
right
that
ahead
points
of it.
people off.
I know.
And
I haven't been up Airport Road in probably 20 years. I know.
You don't take your guests to the Vista?
No, I got to say, I haven't been up Airport Road. And then there's one down on Red Rock Loop Road as well.
Yes.
Upper or lower Red Rock?
Upper.
Upper.
Yeah, it's a ways in.
Is it a secret one?
It is really low key. It's 1893. It sits up on a little bit of a rise, so if you're driving by, if you don't know what you're looking for, you will have a hard time seeing it. But we were so successful with Voices from the Grave last October at Cook Cemetery that we looked at the other cemetery in the spring and said, you know, maybe we should do the same thing there. So in April, this past April, we did Voices from the Grave, Spring Spirits Rising. And we did that at the Red Rock Loop Cemetery. So we have the 2 offerings now, spring and fall, and we plan to repeat again in the spring. And we have out at that cemetery, we have the very first settlers. I mean, the very first Anglo settler, J.J. Thompson, and his wife, and like 7 of their 9 kids are buried in that cemetery out there. So you're talking about royalty, you know, first family royalty kind of thing from the Sedona area who are buried in that cemetery, let alone the Schurman family, who were the first commercial wine makers in northern Arizona. They are buried in that cemetery, some of their relatives and things like that. So that's a fun one, and with different stories. But then this one that's coming up the end of October, this Voices from the Grave at Cook Cemetery, like I said, starts with the flu epidemic. There are babies buried there. Our town's first midwife is buried there, who Shondra portrays.
Right, Nettie Van Daren.
This is your idea now, having
Yes.
the spirits come up. So,
Right.
I mean, that's a great idea.
So we want to have an experience.
Right, yeah.
We wanted to, because of the COVID situation, we're just doing it differently. Instead of just having different crowds of people going from, we actually have, I believe we're only up to 6 or 8 people, and you have to make a reservation. You have to buy your tickets online, and a spirit will take you quietly to each plot. And there's 6 different plots, and at the plot of the person buried there is an actor portraying that person. So they come alive and they talk and tell you about themselves and their history. And we have some musicians with us, fabulous musicians, and they play every time 8 minutes comes. It's time to rotate our audience, and the musicians play, and that gives all of the actors the opportunity to go, okay, got to get this thing finished up, and then it tells the guides to take each group to the next plot.
So about an hour and a half to go through and take the historical tour of
Just
the
a little
cemetery.
over an hour, about an hour.
Right.
Over an
And they
hour.
get a swag bag
Nice.
at the end. We have sponsors. We have some fabulous sponsors.
Yeah?
Can I mention them?
Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
so we have Sefton Engineering,
Okay.
Sedona New Day Spa, El Portal, who else?
Artists.
The Artist's Kitchen, and we just attained 3 more, didn't we?
Yeah, Gail's Chocolates, Main Place Floors, and the Worm Bookstore. So thank
Jumping
you to
on
those
board to help with
7
Yes. Yeah.
sponsors, but they help us make sure that we can take care of our actors and our musicians.
How much are the tickets?
$25
Yes.
for a ticket. Online is how you can purchase them at SedonaMuseum.org. It's pretty easy. Right on the home page, you're going to see these ghostly figures.
Okay.
You click there and you can go right to the tickets. We're offering 2 days, Friday and Saturday, and then we have 2 shows each day. So you can come to a 3 o'clock show or a 4:30 show on each of those days. So you'll have to make that decision when you get to the website.
Oh, you got to go towards the evening one, the 4:30 one.
that's
Just
just
as the
in
sun's starting to
October.
go down,
Just
right?
begins to get a little dark at the
Yeah.
very end. And I have to tell you, we sold out. We sold out
both shows.
immediately on all of them.
Oh.
The spring and the October one that we did last year was completely sold out.
last year. Okay, so
Yeah,
there's
last
still time.
year.
Okay.
No, we still have tickets now.
Okay.
But I'm saying you want to get your tickets because we will sell out.
Are you limited how many people you can take through there?
Yeah, we are going to limit because we're having a little bump in COVID again.
Sure,
It's
sure.
not going to be a free-for-all. It's very organized. We do limit the size of the groups. The groups move in a rotation fashion so they don't overlap.
Sure.
We do some distancing with the actors and things like that. So yes, there will be limited tickets.
Well, I guess if I'm listening to Shondra do a presentation, I don't want to hear the person that's just a little ways away making their presentation at the same time.
Right.
So you can focus on
there
one
were
at a
some
time.
logistics. We had to
Sure.
plan the cemetery and where
First time, right?
some
Oh,
of
yeah.
the interesting characters were, but yet, like you said, be able to space people out.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
And give them
It's
a
really
different view around the property.
And that is Voices from the Grave, Pioneer Cemetery Walk at Cook Cemetery, October 29th and 30th. It's a Friday, Saturday, 3 p.m., 4:30 p.m., $25 a person. And then money, you said, goes back into the cemetery. We've got about a minute. How big are these cemeteries? I mean, how many people are buried at these locations?
Well, at the big cemetery, Cook Cemetery here, there's probably room for just under about 175 plots or something like that. And I would say it's a little over half full. But these cemeteries are pioneer cemeteries. So the only way you get in is if you are related to one of the Sedona pioneer families.
Right.
These are not cemeteries that people can come by plots. So, so there will be limited over time. Maybe we only have a couple burials a year, but it is an active cemetery. We are still taking burials because the descendants of these pioneer families are still with us and still passing away a little at a time, I guess you would say, kind of thing. And so, but because there's no income to these cemeteries and never has been, this has always been a free service from whoever owned the land to the pioneer family representatives, then it becomes our obligation as a historical society to take care of them. And sometimes that means mowing or bringing water to the property or putting in new gravel pathways, things like that. Maybe occasionally we have to replace a stone. So this cemetery cemetery walk really is a way for us to make some money to be sure that we are respectfully taking care of the cemeteries.
Let's take our first break. Sedona Heritage Museum's Janeen Trevillyan and Shondra Jepperson in studio today. We're talking about all kinds of different things coming up. Their website is sedonamuseum.org. You'll find everything we're talking about on that website. Phone number is 282-7038. Stick around. Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
Who doesn't dream of home improvements? Perhaps your kitchen, the real living room. Maybe the bathroom, where you bookend your day. Langstrand Contracting is your one-stop shop from tear down to finishing touches. With 35 years of experience, Chris and his team will work with you to match your family's style and budget. Call Langstrand Contracting today for guidance in bringing your vision to life.
Award-winning Soundbites Grill is an entertainment restaurant located in Uptown Sedona at the Hyatt Pinion Point Resort. Open for lunch and dinner, featuring fresh fish, all-natural hand-cut beef, even a full vegan menu. Family-friendly, open 11:30 to 9, late dining on Friday and Saturday. Soundbites Grill has some of the best views of the Sedona Red Rocks. Offers world-class entertainment, food, fun, and music.
Your carpet is the largest air filter in your home, trapping dust, dirt, and germs from the air that your family members breathe, even the furriest ones.
That's why it's important to keep your carpet and tile clean and hygienic with regular cleanings by Zero-Res. Zero-Res uses state-of-the-art technology and ZR water, not soap or harsh chemicals, so zero residue is left on your home surfaces.
Schedule your appointment today because a clean home is a healthy home. Visit ZeroResNorthernArizona.com.
The mouth is the gateway to the digestive system. Studies indicate a correlation between oral health and full body health. Regular cleanings and checkups can help protect you. New patients are welcome at Arizona Smile Designers in Cottonwood. There's a full smile worth of services all offered under one roof. Whitening and cosmetic to implants and smile reconstruction. Find out more or request an appointment online at azsmiledesigners.com.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're talking with Sedona Heritage Museum's Janeen Trevillyan and Shondra Jepperson. SedonaMuseum.org is the website. And you guys were telling me during the break that if I go to the website, I can get kind of a taste, kind of a promo for that cemetery walk we were just talking about.
Yes, there's a promotional video there.
Nice, okay.
So you can check it out, see what it, it'll give you an idea of what it's going to be like.
Okay, all right, we'll do that. All right, we've got like 4 or 5 other things to talk about. It was summer. When you sent this, it's so weird. Time is flying by so fast now. Purple, the Color of Magic special exhibit at Sedona Heritage Museum. It's supposed to be a fun thing. So tell me a little bit about that.
We try to do a new changing exhibit every year, and this year we were looking for something, and everybody was quite frankly frazzed out with the world, and was looking for something joyful and that didn't require a lot of borrowing from other institutions and things like that can get kind of complicated. So we looked at internally to our own collection, and somebody said purple, and we found all these cool things that we own in the collection that are purple. Okay. So we pulled our own items out. There's everything from a state fair purple ribbon that one of our local people won for their vegetables back like 70 or some 80 years ago, to a purple dress from one of the founding mothers who always wore purple, just all kinds of purple things. So that exhibit goes on until about mid-November, and then we'll be changing that out again. So that's just been fun. It's lighthearted. But we had some fun ladies show up one day, and they had dressed in their purple long dresses, their finery, and had come and took their pictures with everything else purple.
Oh, so nice.
That was kind of fun.
You've always got some awesome story to tell when you're here about something you found. Save it for later. Maybe do you have one that you could share with us?
Well, I'm thinking of one of the latest things to come into the museum.
If we've got time, we'll do it at the end. Yeah, hold that story. Okay, so that's Purple, the Color of Magic. That's just one display that's going on at Sedona Heritage Museum. There's all kinds of things going going on there. Throwback Thursdays, Shondra, you're involved with Throwback Thursdays too.
Yes.
What's that all about?
So that is reenactors. So you get to meet the pioneers inside and around the Heritage Museum. So that's a lot of fun. We've never done that before, and we wanted to come up with something that would just give you another experience. So we charge, I believe it's $20, and you can get tickets online. It's every first Thursday. We call it Throwback Thursday.
Okay.
So a lot of fun. We just did a little trial run. We've got our first one actually is coming up in October. So
and there's period
week.
period acting as well going on during this too?
Yes.
Okay, so what kind of who are we talking about when we say period actor? You're impersonating somebody who was actually alive in Sedona. So who are we?
Well, you get to meet Sedona Schnebley in the kitchen.
Okay.
Matter of fact, you're going to have an opportunity to have some pumpkin muffins at the end and some apple cider afterwards. But you're going to be meeting her. You're also going to be meeting, I'm trying to remember all of them. There's so many. We have Jesse Purdyman. It's outside, and inside we have Walter Jordan inside the apple shed. You're going to have a chance to talk to them and just hear their story. It's very conversational. It's not necessarily performance-oriented like Voices from the Grave. It's just really an experience.
You hear the last name Purdyman and Jordan.
Yes.
And it rings a bell.
Oh, yes.
Tabasi rings a bell. Maybury rings a bell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those pioneer
Selma
names.
rings a bell. There's a lot of names.
Dorothea Tanning is in our art room. And
she's excellent.
She is terrific.
Excellent.
Yeah, she really is. And so you'll be walking with a group again, but without a guide this time, and walking to different rooms inside it's the Jordan House. And then outside, around the perimeters, the telegraph office is really a great history there. And so you'll be going over there as well.
All the movie history. The person in the telegraph office tells about all the movies made in Sedona and some fun stories about people who had a personal experience with a star or maybe doubled for somebody at
John
some
Wayne,
movie.
Henry Ford.
Yeah, how that whole industry built.
So it's a completely different experience than Voices from the Grave, but similar in that you get a chance to meet the pioneers. And they just basically have a conversation with you and answer some questions. It's really fun.
Yeah, and the money goes back into the museum.
Yes, it does.
Our programs and services.
Yes.
Yeah. It's grown leaps and bounds in the time that you've been coming here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The Jordan House is something to see in its own. I think one of the last times you were here, you were talking about how the Jordan House, you can actually see how construction expanded on that home as the family settled in, and as this family grew and grew and grew, you can see how, well, this room has to go on, then this room has to go on. And then technology changes that occurred over the time. So, well, this room's not maybe suitable for this anymore, so we're going to change it. I think it's amazing. So that's Throwback Thursday. So again, check on that one. October 7th was the last one. What's the next one that's coming up? October 7th at 3:30 in the afternoon. So it's right in the middle of the afternoon. That's easy. And then the Pioneer and Community Picnic. I've had this in my news for a little while, though. That's coming up this Sunday, October 3rd at noon. What is the Pioneer and Community Picnic?
The Historical Society has been getting all the Pioneer descendants together for a picnic the first Sunday of October for, I don't know, decades, 40 years or something like that, maybe longer. And so this is our opportunity to get the Pioneers back together. And of course, we did not do this last year. It wasn't safe. This year, people are feeling a little more optimistic. We do host the Pioneer Picnic out in the packing shed with the big doors open, so we get good airflow. This year, we usually do a potluck. This year, the Historical Society is buying the food and providing the food because we just want to take that extra little step of safety. But we're up to about 45 or 50 descendants and long-time longtime Verde Valley residents who could go back to high school or something like that and talk about knowing some of these Pioneer descendants before them, or having maybe their first job was working for one of the Pioneer descendants and things like that. So we're inviting people to come because to share their stories, share what they think was great about the old days in Sedona. And so once we all have lunch, we will be passing the microphone and we'll be listening to Pioneer descendants tell the stories of walking to school, building a flume or an irrigation ditch, the old skating rink at Indian Gardens, whatever stories and memories they might have, it's an opportunity to share.
A skating rink? I think it was a skating rink.
Skating rink in Indian Gardens.
We have to take our second break. Sedona Heritage Museum. .org is the website. Phone numbers 282-7038. All kinds of stuff coming up that you want to participate in. Stick around. Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
Who doesn't dream of home improvements? Perhaps your kitchen, the real living room. Maybe the bathroom, where you bookend your day. Langstrand Contracting is your one-stop shop from tear down to finishing touches. With 35 years of experience, Chris and his team will work with you to match your family's style and budget. Call Langstrand Contracting today for guidance in bringing your vision to life.
Your carpet is the largest air filter in your home, trapping dust, dirt, and germs from the air that your family members breathe, even the furriest ones.
That's why it's important to keep your carpet and tile clean and hygienic with regular cleanings by Zero-Res. Zero-Res uses state-of-the-art technology and ZR water, not soap or harsh chemicals, so zero residue is left on your home surfaces.
Schedule your appointment today because a clean home is a healthy home. Visit ZeroResNorthernArizona.com.
The mouth is the gateway to the digestive system. Studies indicate a correlation between oral health and full body health. Regular cleanings and checkups can help protect you. New patients are welcome at Arizona Smile Designers in Cottonwood. There's a full smile worth of services all offered under one roof. Whitening and cosmetic to implants and smile reconstruction. Find out more or request an appointment online at azsmiledesigners.com.
Terrifying jobs, high-flying linemen, take 3.
Josh, this is an absolutely terrifying job. Why do you do it?
It's a very demanding job, but very rewarding and exciting.
How much energy are you actually working with up there?
500,000 volts of electricity.
It's definitely not my line of work. Does anything shock you?
Yeah, distracted drivers terrify me.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a few minutes left of the program. Janeen's going to tell us a story. Before we do that, though, we did the story about the grants. You guys have got more grants, which is helping with the photo.
Which is great.
Which is helping to store the photos away and make them easier to find for people who want to do research.
Yep.
And then, of course, the museum's always open for donations and volunteers. I know volunteers have dropped off in a lot of the 501c3 type groups. So if you want to volunteer, now's the time to get back involved in that. So tell me your story. You've got 3 minutes. Tell me your story.
Okay. So we always have interesting things. Somebody knocks on the door. You get a needle mail out of the moon, and it's like, what the? I never knew. So this woman from California emailed me a couple months ago, and she said, my father was the executive producer for Elvis Presley's movie Stay Away Joe, which was filmed in Sedona in 1967. And I'm going through his things, and I've found some things. I wonder if you'd like to have them. Like, okay. But one of the items is a hand-painted scroll with 157 signatures of Sedona Chamber of Commerce members, businesses, who said thank you, Elvis, and thank you to this director and to MGM Studios for coming to Sedona and bringing this economic impact to our town by filming this movie here.
Wow.
So that we have the photo taken of this scroll back in 1967 being presented to MGM Studio by the Chamber of Commerce president. So I've seen this photo. I knew there was a scroll. I figured, that's long gone in Elvis's stuff.
Right.
And sure enough, this woman called. She says, this came to my father eventually as the executive producer, and I have it. And I'm thinking I could sell it, but I think the best thing to do would be to return it to Sedona. Would you like to have it?
Oh my gosh! So you got that
so
scroll.
We have the scroll back.
Okay. What's the scroll made out of?
It's a piece of paper about this big. And what I've learned is that there was an art student at Verde Valley School who hand painted these red rocks and trees and desert landscaping all around. And then there was another student who did the calligraphy to actually create the thank you from and then the date and all this stuff. And then there's this big blank spot at the bottom. and these perfect lines, 157. And you read those signatures, and there's names you would know. I mean, there are these names that are Sedona names that we all remember from the 50s, 60s, for those of us who've either studied it or around here.
Right.
And you're going to recognize, I recognize just from my little bit of doing local research, I recognize probably at least half the names.
Wow.
So they are the Sedona movers and shakers from the 1960s.
Name some of the. Can you name some of the old businesses, or are the businesses attached to the names?
The businesses aren't named, just the person's name. But like Walter Nelson, who owned the Ranch Market, and he did catering for the movie and things like that, and he was a president. Lucy Livingston, who was a big realtor back in that day, and what's her name, Georgiana McCaffery or somebody like that. She was a realtor. She's the one who rented the house to Elvis and Priscilla, and the what do they call them, the Memphis Mafia. She rented houses so that they would have their own houses and didn't have to stay in hotels when they were here. So I mean, it's really a who's who of Sedona at that period of time, and just a fun thing for us to be able to put on display.
All right, well, we're out of time. You guys have brought up all kinds of great stuff people can participate in, so thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Nice meeting you, Shondra.
Nice to meet you.
Janeen, always good to see you.
Absolutely.
And I love your stories. SedonaMuseum.org is the website, 282-7038. That's today's countywide. Thanks for watching, listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.